Do you know your numbers? Dun dun dun!
This video discusses the importance of knowing your vitamin D levels.
Hello everyone. I want to go over the incredible health benefits of vitamin D. Do you know your vitamin D levels? Have you had your blood tested recently? Well, I want to go over those levels with you because you really should know your numbers. Do you know those numbers? So what is vitamin D? I've already written it up here so we can save time. Vitamin D levels, I'll go over those in a second, but first, the name of the test would be 25-hydroxy vitamin D or 25-OHD, 25-OH vitamin D. Put an or right here. Okay? There's many ways of seeing it. You may see it on a lab test, and it really depends on the lab on how it's written. Okay? But this is the vitamin D levels. Blood levels are usually categorized as sufficient, deficient, optimal, or, let me just write it down for you. Okay? This is considered deficient. This is the danger zone. You don't want to go below this amount. If you're less than, that's a less than sign. If you're less than 20 nanograms per milliliter, that's a danger zone. Because vitamin D is good for the immune system. And your immune system will be in trouble if you're under 20 nanograms. I remember during the COVID pandemic, there were a lot of patients coming in like almost deathly ill, and some of them were deathly ill, and some of them didn't make it. And then when they did the vitamin D levels, they were like critically low, like well below that. So your survival rate of any kind of disease or any kind of sickness is better if you can keep your numbers above here. As a matter of fact, insufficient is 20 to 29 nanograms per milliliter. That is still insufficient, but at least you're not as bad as being under 20, okay? It's still not as bad as being deficient. But if you're in any of these ranges, you need to start taking supplementation, because if it's this low, that means you're not getting any sun, you're not eating any foods that are rich in vitamin D, and your health is suffering. Your health, and if you don't feel sick, or you feel like, oh, my health is not suffering, I'm fine, you don't want to get there. We want to be proactive with our health. We don't want to be reactive. Being proactive is doing things before it gets to this point. You do things to keep yourself healthy so you won't have to react later when you come down with a disease or some kind of sickness. And then you got to be reactive and replenish your body of all of the vitamins and the minerals that it needs, because you haven't been doing it along the way. So we're going to be proactive. So next, the sufficient, which is a good range, would be 30 to 50 nanograms per milliliter. This is the sufficient range. That's good. Sufficient's good. Sufficient's always good. But there is also a potentially excessive range, which would be somewhere around, greater than 50 nanograms per milliliters a day. That's excessive. And you can have other issues with that, with this too as well. So we want to aim for this area here, the sufficient range, 30 to 50 nanograms per milliliter. Because within this range, your immune system is good. Even if you're sick, because we can all be at our optimal health level, and you can still get a cold. Because there's viruses out there. No matter how healthy you are, you could be the biggest, healthiest walking specimen alive, but a virus can still get a hold of you and can still knock you off your feet. If you haven't had anything like that to happen to you, trust me, you don't want that to happen. So I want you to remain proactive about your health and keep these vitamin D levels at an optimal level. Okay? Potentially excessive is not good, because then you have other problems. You'll have toxicity. You don't want to go there, because then you'll have poisoning. Now, once you get past the potentially excessive, then you have the toxicity levels greater than 100 nanograms per milliliter. That's excessive. Okay, so this is definitely toxic. You get over 100, you may already be having some symptoms, but which I will share within the video as well. Potentially excessive, that's when you got to bring those numbers down. Those are the people that are really popping down those vitamin D3 supplements, and they're taking too much. They're not only popping the vitamin D3 supplements, they're eating foods that are rich in vitamin D3, and they're also out in the sun. So, it's like excessive amounts of vitamin D coming at your body at once, and that's when you can get the toxicity levels. We don't want to aim for there. You want to aim for the 30 to 50 nanograms per milliliter, okay? So that's what you want your blood work to look like. That is your levels, your vitamin D levels that you would like to see, okay, in order to be optimal. So how much of the vitamin D3 supplement should you be taking? Well, so glad you asked. For children up to 12 months, they should be taking 400 international units of vitamin D, which will be in a little dropper form for the kids. For people ages 1 to 70 years old, believe it or not, we're all in that same group age range there. We should be taking 600 international units of vitamin D3 a day. 600. So 1 to 70, okay? That's easy to understand, 1 to 70. The exception to this rule is if you happen to go for your blood levels and you're deficient, less than 20, or insufficient, your doctor might put you on an excessive amount of vitamin D3 just to get your levels up to the sufficient level, to the optimum level. I remember, I would say, oh wow, how many years ago has this been now? Was I a brand new RN? I think I was. I was a brand new RN, and I had gotten a physical after being a nurse for about, a couple of years. No, I don't think I was an RN yet. I think I was an LPN. And I remember getting my physical. I was in school finishing up my RN, and my vitamin D levels came back. It wasn't less than 20. It was within the 20 to 29, and my doctor was like, "Oh my God, your vitamin D levels are so low. I got to put you on an emergent regimen of vitamin D3." I think I was taking like 50,000 international units. Wow. It was a lot, guys. It was a lot. And I was like, gosh, I need that much, because I did my research right away. And I was like, that's a lot, doctor, because I question everything. Just because my doctors say, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that, I question everything and I research everything. So remember that. No matter what your doctor or anybody tells you, do your own research. Get a second opinion if you have to, even a third opinion if you have to. But when I did the research, I realized that, because I was so low, he was prescribing it. So, the 50,000 international units for a reason. It wasn't indefinite. It was for a few weeks. I know that. And then he said, I want to see you back at whatever date he told me to come back, so I can see where your levels are at that time. And then we'll adjust you. And when I went back, I was within that sufficient range. And he just said, okay, you don't need to take that much anymore. I just want you to do the regular, I think it was the 600 international units. And one time I even think they were a little high. And the doctor told me to, peel back, because I think I was taking two of the tablets, which equal like 1,200 international units. So he said, no, you can stick down to the 600. You don't need to overdo it. So just continue it daily. And I have been doing it faithful for umpteen years, as people say. It's been many years. So my vitamin D levels are always within range. That's all I do is 1 tablet a night. And I take it at night at bedtime or whenever I'm sleeping, I take my vitamin D3, because I don't take calcium. I take, with my supplement, I'll take it. Or if I need to take melatonin in the daytime, I will take my D3 with it, because it works better with my supplements. And if you take calcium, of course, they say the vitamin D3 actually works best with the calcium as well. But I don't have to take calcium, because my calcium levels have always been optimal, always been great. And that's another thing you need to be on top of. Be on top of your calcium and phosphorus levels, because vitamin D3 actually helps those minerals work better as well. So you want to be on top of all those numbers. And maybe I'll do a video on that. Do you know your numbers for calcium? Yeah, maybe I'll do that next. And for people over the age of 70, they're going to need 800 international units of vitamin D3. Why so much? Well, because as you age, your bones become thinner and more brittle. They're not supposed to. That's why I say you have to do the weight training, especially women, because we tend to get osteoporosis later on in life. And that's because we're not moving as much, we're not as active, and that's why the doctors increase those vitamin D3 levels. If you are working out and you are lifting weights, continue doing that because that is awesome, awesome, awesome for your bone health and for your immune health. Now, for pregnant or nursing women, if you're breastfeeding, you want to aim between 600 to 800 international units as well. What I love about vitamin D3 is that it has so many benefits. Like I said, I take it before bedtime because if you have insomnia or trouble sleeping, vitamin D3 can actually aid in helping with that sleep. Whatever you're taking, if you're taking melatonin or any kind of natural supplement, take the vitamin D3 and it definitely will help. And you want to naturally increase your vitamin D by aiming for sun exposure. The most that we really need is about 15 to 30 minutes a few times a week, like at least about 3 times a week. And that should be good enough for you. Now, if you're in the sun every day, that's even better. You know, if you're in the sun every day, just make for sure you're putting on that sunscreen or that sunblock and make for sure it's a high SPF because if you're fair skinned, you're definitely going to need more. I've seen them as high as 50 to 100 SPF, and they probably have them higher than that, but I've seen them really high. And although I'm dark skinned, I still put on sunscreen because you want to protect your skin. You don't want to have wrinkles. You don't want to have skin cancer, God forbid. So you definitely want to stay on top of that and protect your skin while you're in the sun. Aim for either very early in the morning I always try to get out there before 9 o'clock because after 9 and 10, oh my gosh, it gets so hot. I'm down here in Florida, so our sun is really, really hot. We're like really close to the equator, so we have to really protect ourselves. Or wait until the afternoon, like after 4, after 5 o'clock even. You know, the later the better. I know in my neighborhood, usually when the sun is close to setting is when I'll see a lot of people walking by the window. I'm like, okay, they must have had their dinner. So now they're going out to do their evening walk. Walking after dinner actually is great because you're not going to bed right away. They always say if you're going to exercise, do it at least a couple of hours before bedtime because doing it so close to bedtime, it may interfere with your sleep. And as far as having vitamin D enriched foods, you want to aim for fatty fish like salmon. Salmon is one of the best fish because it's high in omega-3 fatty acids and is high in vitamin D. Now, in the beginning, I never really liked salmon much, but I went to a friend's house one time and he broiled the salmon. He put lemon on top, some seasonings, and broiled it. And I was like, wow, that's really good. That was the first time I tasted a salmon fish that I could eat without saying it was too fishy. So I learned how to do it that way, and that way now I can eat my salmon. Now, as far as other foods, mushrooms are high in vitamin D. All of your dairy products are high in vitamin D. You can get milk products that's enriched with vitamin D. Also, egg yolks have vitamin D. I didn't realize that until I saw that. It is enriched with vitamin D. If you don't eat eggs and you just eat the egg white, well, then that's fine. Just make for sure you supplement with the vitamin D3. Now, vitamin D3 is not just known as the sunshine vitamin for no reason. Of course, it's because it comes from the sun naturally, but it is great because it's a mood elevator. It enhances your mood. I mean, just think about it. Not just when you go to the beach, but when you do anything in the sun, don't you feel better? Some people go to a ball game. They're out there cheering for their team. And well, they're in the sun and they're feeling great. All those rays coming down on them. So just think about it. When you're in the sun, it's a natural mood elevator. You just feel naturally happy. And like I said earlier, it boosts your immunity. It helps with your immune health. So people who have higher vitamin D levels, they tend not to get sick. And if they do, the duration might not be as long or as severe. So you want to make for sure you keep those levels up. You want to keep them in the sufficient range. And of course, it helps with bone health, like I've said before. When you're weight training or doing anything, any kind of resistance, that's all great for bone health. But adding vitamin D3 absolutely helps with that. And it helps with muscle. It helps with muscle strength and elasticity. You want to keep those muscles healthy. And muscle strength, keep that strong. Like I say to the ladies and the men, of course, you want to keep that muscle strength because as we age, it is vital. Having strong muscles is vital for our health as we age. And lastly, but not least, it promotes heart health. Good vitamin D levels in your blood is great to promote cardiovascular health. And it's also good for blood pressure. It helps maintain that nice level of blood pressure for you. So you definitely want to keep those levels, aim for the best sufficient levels of your vitamin D because your health will thank you for it. And you will remain proactive for your health, taking care of what you need to take care of before something goes wrong. So that is all I have for you today as far as vitamin D3 levels. I want you to know your numbers, stay on top of them. And if you're not in the optimal level, the sufficient level, and you're deficient or insufficient, you want to correct that right away as quickly as possible. So consult your doctor. Ask for the vitamin D level test if you haven't had one already. Definitely ask for it. Whether you're a male or female, ask for it because you want to know your numbers and you want to know where you're starting from, so you can know how to correct it. I thank you so much. My name is Sabrina Clayton. I thank you for listening. If you haven't done so already, please click the subscribe button and click the bell for notifications so that way you can be notified when a new video come out. And click like and share if you found this information helpful. Thank you for your time. And remember, if you're healthy, you are wealthy. So stay on top of that health. Remain proactive. Keep those vitamin D levels optimal and at the best sufficient level. And you will be a healthy specimen. Have a great day, guys.